Today we are going to have a chat. It's going to be a not fun, more casual video, but we're going to do it. Bibliophiles of the internet, my name is Adri and I have been doing gender-affirming hormone therapy for over 6 months. I thought I would rip the band-aid off, come right out and say it so that we can get to the heart of this video, which is unpacking more of what it means to be a visible trans person online and also establishing some hard boundaries for my own well-being and peace of mind going forward from this point. First of all, if you're currently typing a comment that's something to the effect of, I knew it, or I knew something was different, or I could tell you look great, I'm gonna stop you right there. Hit backspace, hit delete, because making assumptions about someone's health or body and commenting on someone's body without their consent is not appropriate. I guess we can start there. I sort of toyed with the idea of trolling y'all and never saying anything ever, just letting whatever happens happen, and honestly, that's valid. That would have been my choice, and that's a choice a lot of people make. Health is a very private experience, and having a private life and privacy is my right. Everybody has that right. Even if you share certain things in public spaces, you have a right to your privacy. If you needed someone to say that, I just said that. Take it in. You have a right to your privacy. So I thought about that a lot, and I kept thinking to myself, like, am I keeping secrets? Am I not being real? Am I being fake in some way? And I'll just speak directly to my fellow queer and trans people here when I say that we do not owe anyone anything. No one is entitled to our story, our choices, our identities. If you don't wish to disclose your queerness for any reason, you are not being fake or being any less yourself. No matter what the world and the coming out narratives try to say, queerness is not a spectrum going from closeted to visible. There is so much more to our experiences, and there is so much more to us. So that's my first point. I have not been lying or hiding this entire time. It's a personal choice, and the experience of your body and your health is a personal and private thing. I am not going to tell you specifics about what form I'm taking, what my dosage is, what changes I've seen, how I made the choice that I made. That is no one's business but mine. So there are several reasons as to why I waited for this particular moment to say anything, and the first is that I wanted to give myself space to form my own relationship with gender-affirming hormone therapy before bringing anyone else into that choice. I wanted to make sure that it was right for me, that everything was going well, and that I got a chance to decide how I feel about it without anybody projecting their shit onto it. The second reason was that I wanted to tell everyone in my close personal circles on my own, in my own time, and make sure that everybody I cared about was on the same page before bringing anything into the public space. What you have to understand is that trans people have to constantly think about their safety both offline and online in such specific ways. I did not want to say anything in my spaces on the internet before getting a chance to tell everyone important myself, because I know that people online like to weaponize transition and use that information to get trans people fired from their jobs, estranged from their families, thrown out of their homes. If that sounds dramatic to you, you need to pull your head out of your ass and take a look around, because that is very much a reality, and I did not want to give anyone that chance. Joke's on you, haters. Anyone in my life who has any kind of power or importance to any degree already knows. The third reason I waited to say anything was because visibility is a double-edged sword, and when people learn that someone is trans or that they've transitioned in some way, they start asking invasive questions, making invasive comments, and doing inappropriate things. Especially because any changes that you will notice happen very slowly, I did not want to essentially put myself on display for people to dissect. I am not your fun little science experiment to ogle and take notes on. I don't need you to log my progress. I don't need you to be scouring my face and my person looking for any changes. I don't need you commenting on what you've noticed or what you're curious about. You are not welcome to do any of those things. And here's where some of those boundaries come in. I am not here to educate you, especially if you're cis. I'm not here to teach you about hormone therapy. I cannot help you make up your mind about hormone therapy or tell you how to get it. My body and my health is not a site for public discourse. My physicality or physical well-being is not up for debate. Hormone therapy does not make me any more or any less non-binary or trans. My primary directive, my primary purpose for being on this platform has not changed. I'm here to talk about books. I've always been here to talk about books. All this time, for over 7 years now, you have never been welcome to comment on my body, and that is not changing now that you just know something new about my transness. Even if your comment is positive, even if you think it's a compliment, keep it to yourself unless I explicitly ask. When I want to be perceived, you will know. You are welcome to share in my joy, to wish me well on the journey, or congratulate me on the choice, or just share love, but anything else you need to keep to yourself unless I explicitly ask. Some thoughts are inside thoughts, and a lot of you folks, when it comes to trans people, have a lot of inside thoughts that you need to keep inside. And if I'm reviewing a book or opening up a discussion about books and you just comment with how you think I look or sound, that just shows me that you don't value my content and you're not paying attention to the content I put a lot of work into making. So that's fucked up. Don't do that. I want to go back to visibility for a second because even though I was never obligated to, I always knew I was going to say something and invite you all to be part of this journey as passive observers because I know how important trans visibility is. Trans visibility saves lives. Trans visibility saved and changed my life, especially as someone who is trans and non-binary and Latinx. There is so much within my own cultural tradition that erases and fails to uphold transness. And if I did not see other trans-masked Latinx people paving the way, I would not have been able to imagine this possibility for myself. And I knew I would want to speak on this because I want to be mindful of my fellow trans folks and acknowledge the hardships we go through, the obstacles we face, often by ourselves, and the tremendous complexity of our experiences. I do not want my choice and my visibility to be painful or confusing for my fellow trans folks. I do not want to send the message that all trans people need to medically transition or that you can't be trans-masked unless you do hormone therapy because that's not true. I'm speaking directly to my fellow trans folks here. That is all cis-generated nonsense and noise. To my fellow NBs, we can be whatever we want and do whatever we want. You can be trans-masked and love your chest. You can be trans and never change your presentation, your name, or your pronouns. You can be trans-femme and have facial hair and wear men's clothing. You can be trans without changing anything about yourself or by changing everything about yourself. It is our choice. What you keep and what you move away from is entirely up to you. There is no wrong way to be non-binary or to be trans. There is no way to quantify transness. The only requirement for being non-binary is identifying as non-binary. The only requirement for being trans is identifying as trans. My visibility and my openness at this part of my journey could potentially bring up some painful stuff for people in my community, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry that we should be able to just say these things and share our joy and have people understand, but they don't. And I'm sorry that we have to lead with caution and protect ourselves so much. Transition and trans healthcare is so fraught. We are constantly under attack, both socially and legally, privately and publicly, and believe me, I get that. I know there are people out there who want this kind of treatment but can't get it, who are struggling with the choice of pursuing medical transition, who are caught between one of 1,000 loopholes, or who feel outside pressure to conform to some non-existent standard of transness. I also understand that there are so many people who are not able to be visible or open about their transness, or who don't want to be for so many valid reasons. I am fortunate to be in a position and a place where I can be, so I'm happy to be visible for everyone who can't be or who doesn't want to be and who needs to see that somewhere, someplace. And also, visibility is not necessarily the end goal. If you're not visible or open about your experience, you are not any less. And I'm well aware this might also bring up feelings of pain or isolation or even jealousy. I've definitely been envious of where other trans folks in my own community are in their journey. I've also thought to myself, why can't I have that? Why can't I be there? But we cannot let those insecurities infringe upon our own valid experiences of transness. And I think it also took me this long to say anything because I felt like I was betraying people in some way, like my non-binariness would no longer be valid if I tried pursuing something that would make me more male passing, even though male is a whole ass made up construct. As a visible trans person on this platform and in this community, I'm here to uplift and validate trans folks as I go. To my fellow trans folks, there is no metric for what is non-binary enough or trans enough. If you are trans, you are trans. No matter what you do or don't do, Nothing can change that. I love that we're empowering people and sharing more messages about how any pronouns can be trans. You don't have to pass to be trans. You don't have to bind to be trans. You don't have to experience dysphoria to be trans. You don't have to hate your body to be trans. You don't have to change anything about yourself to be trans. And all of that is unequivocally true. But seeing those messages kind of gives me whiplash because on the one hand, I'm being empowered myself. But on the other hand, I'm receiving this implied message that I've given in or failed in some way because I've chosen to change myself, essentially. But that's not true. When we empower each other and celebrate all these complex experiences and possibilities, we're empowering all of the possibilities, not just the ones that sound good to us. And hormone therapy is one of those valid possibilities. No matter what I look like, no matter what I sound like, I am still non-binary as long as I identify as non-binary, which I do. You don't have to be a binary trans person to pursue medical transition. You are not weak. You are not subscribing to a binary. You have not failed to love yourself in some radical way if you pursue medical transition, and fuck anyone who says otherwise. I am not any more or less non-binary than I have ever been in my life. I am healthy, I'm happy as fuck, and I'm just that much closer to seeing someone in the mirror who I actually recognize. So let's circle back to more boundaries. I am not here to answer your questions unless I explicitly make space to do that. I'm not here to field your comments or your opinions on the specific subject. I am not obligated to validate or explain my choices. You are welcome to witness, but I am ultimately the one who gets to decide what I share and what I don't. Don't ask me what's changed. I will not tell you. Don't ask me how it works. I will not tell you. Don't try and police my gender or my expression. Do not ask me trans-related questions unless you ask whether we can have that conversation first. I am not trans Google. Do your own research. Don't ask me how my friends and family feel about it. I will not tell you. Don't ask me how it works. I will not tell you. Don't ask me about things I have not shared online. Don't ask me what my end game is, what my transition goals are, and when I'll be done transitioning, because those are not only invasive questions, but they're also stupid as fuck. In terms of what this means for my channel, specifically my past content, I'm still unpacking that. I don't have any good answers. I don't see myself hiding or deleting large swaths of my content because I'm ultimately proud of it and it represents so many hours of hard work that I'm really not interested in losing. I may comb through and private really old videos where I'm not feeling what I was presenting that day, but ultimately not any videos I think you will miss. This is important. If you have to share a video of mine that's pre-transition, pre-name change, just ask me first. I'm the one who gets to make that choice. This is another hard boundary I'm gonna draw, but if you need to use a photo of me either in your video, in a collage, in an Instagram guide, in a thumbnail, ask me first, or just use whatever my icon is at the moment. You may have noticed that last year I changed my icon like 3 or 4 times because my face is different. I could not tell you how or why, but the face I have now is not the face I had a few months ago, and I will change my icon across my platforms as often as I please in order to accurately reflect where I am on my journey, and that's my right. So because of that, you do not have permission to use any old photo of me that you want. You do not have permission to share pre-transition photos for any reason, and that includes thumbnails. I'll say it again, if you have to use my photo for something, ask me first. If you violate any of the boundaries I've established so far, I will redirect you to this video and I will not be gentle with you because I have to put my safety and my well-being first. And if you're sitting there thinking, why do they have to say this? Shouldn't this be common sense? Is anyone really gonna do that or say that or ask that? If I have to say it out loud, it's because of something I've experienced or my fellow trans folks in this community have experienced. Take a moment and think about that. Some of you don't know of or watch any other trans people besides me, and it shows. I am not your trans monolith. I'm not here to hold your hand as you educate yourself. I'm not here to show you what transness means because it means more things than I could ever possibly show you as one person. My experience is not every other trans person's experience. Let me say that again. My experience is not every other trans person's experience, and vice versa. Again, I wish this was something I could just say and put it out there and share my joy and have it be understood and be done with it, but it just comes with so much baggage and danger. I have to be firm. I have to be clear. That's why I'm making this video. So yeah, that's where I am at this point. Like I said, I'm here to talk about books. I'm not going to stop talking about books. I might just look a little different or look a little more like myself as I do it. How this is going to work, what it looks like going forward, we have to navigate that together as it comes. It's going to be a learning curve for me too, believe me. But like I said, my focus and my purpose as a booktuber and as a content creator has not changed. And that's what matters the most. I don't know how to end this video. I certainly will not be including a comment question of the day. All I can say is thank you for listening. Thank you for respecting these boundaries. I'm good, I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I will hopefully be back with another bookish video soon. So until next time, educate yourself, be kind to yourself, take care of yourself, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page.